right here is a long time coming. This right here is important. This is one of my favorite rappers for real, for real. This is my brother too, nigga. This was my brother, and that's how it started, and that's how we gonna finish this shit, for real. Y'all make some noise for Meek Mill from Philly.
All right, Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, how's everybody doing out there? A lot to get to in this video. First and foremost, let's just set off the disclaimer. I know that audio is pretty fuzzy. I'm sorry, I'm just getting the footage that the fans are sitting in who are at this show in here in Boston, Massachusetts. Meek Mill and Drake have officially ended their beef for good. Now, we have been talking about this on my platform a couple times over the last few months. Drake had always been down to end the beef with Meek Mill. Meek, since he's come home, is down to end the beef with Drake. While Meek was incarcerated over the last few months, as his story about how this judge was treating him and was not allowing him to get any type of bond, Drake started showing love at shows. He was pretty much saying, free that boy Meek Mill. You know, even in his music, you heard Drake change his tone a lot about Meek and speak on him on a Scorpion album, not in a negative light. So we knew this day was coming. I knew, you know, Drake in an interview about an album or two ago said he didn't believe he could ever end his beef with Meek Mill because Meek tried to end him. He tried to end his career. But over time, and I've seen the wave that Meek's been on since he's been home, I knew this would happen, man. They're just in two great spaces. They're both making money. They're both extra successful. They're in that top stratosphere of rappers in the world, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense for these two guys to be beefing anymore. Now, let's go backwards before we can go forwards. How do we get to this spot? First of all, for those who don't remember, Meek Mill started this beef, all right? There was a record called Rico that was set to be on Meek Mill's album back in 2015, all right? That album was entitled Dreams Worth More Than Money, one of my favorite Meek Mill projects of all time. Now, there was a feature on it. That feature was Drake. And this was when Meek and Nicki had first made it official. They were riding around everywhere. As a matter of fact, I caught up with Meek and Nicki in Memphis, Tennessee. They came out on Gotti's birthday bash. I got footage of that on my platform. I mean, they were everywhere showing off their new relationship, and Meek was pretty much in a different light. He was getting that attention and that clout of being the boyfriend of Nicki Minaj, superstar, and it was the first time Meek Mill's name had entered the real. He was becoming a pop star. And on this Rico record, there was a verse from Drake that went something like this. Always knew women gotta keep a balance. The girl of your dreams, to me, is probably not a challenge. I've been counted out so many times I couldn't count it. Funny how now my accountant is having trouble trying to count it. To the people that think that I owe you shit, payback's a bitch and you know that shit. Y'all niggas getting too old for this. Please don't think nobody notices. I've been up for way too many days. Y'all sleep enough for me anyway. Y'all don't be doing shit anyway. Y'all are not true to this anyway. OVO, East End, reps up. We might just end up with the Rico. Everyone home for the summer, so let's not do anything illegal. All right, that's pretty much the whole verse. Meek Mill thought that verse was about him. He thought Drake dissed him on his own album. He thought Drake was dissing the fact that Meek was with Nicki, and pretty much, obviously, we understand that Drake and Nicki have flirted on verses back in the day and on stage. Meek thought that Drake was telling him, the girl of your dreams, to me, probably ain't a challenge. Obviously, we know Meek Mill used the words dreams throughout his verses, throughout his album titles. He's a dream chaser. That's what his crew's name. You know what I mean? So Meek thought it was a diss to him. He like, this nigga gonna diss me on my own verse. It was a verse that was sent in. It was sent over, so Meek and Drake were not in the studio at the same time doing it. So if Meek felt the way about it, it wasn't like he was next to Drake and could be like, yo, you rapping about me? They weren't in the studio. Drake sent that verse over, and Meek went to the source from the person who had the verse, kind of like the middleman, right? That middleman was DJ Drama, somebody who was mutually cool with Drake and mutually cool with Meek Mill. So Meek hit up DJ Drama. He's like, yo, I think this dude dissing me. I'm not about to put this album out and this nigga dissing me on my own album. I'm not gonna put this record out. And Rico was hard, by the way. So from there, Drama's like, Meek, I'm telling you, brother, the boy's not dissing you. He not dissing you. I know for a fact he's not dissing you. It keeps going from there, you know, and Meek's on, by the way, at the time, Meek has acknowledged this. He was on them Percocets. So he was kind of spazzing out on not just Drake, but also people around him in his circle. So Meek was in a bad space mentally. He was popping. He had the baddest chick in the game, according to him. And he was spazzing out mentally. He was not in a good space. He's talked about this a plethora of times. And he's like, yo, I think Drake's dissing me. Drama's like, bruh, just chill. He ain't dissing you. I promise you that. So finally, Meek's pressuring DJ Drama, and Drama's like, I know the nigga ain't diss you because he ain't write the verse. I got the reference track. From there, we find out that potentially Quentin Miller might have helped write that verse that Drake put on that Rico reference, and maybe was helping Drake on some other verses. Who knows? From there, again, we find out that Drake doesn't write every bar that he raps. After that, we hear of the whole ghostwriting thing. Meek Mill goes on Twitter. He becomes Twitter fingers. He starts talking about how he loves his hip hop shit, and he can't believe that y'all called Drake number one and he don't write this shit. He was on them perks at the time, again, spazzing out, talking crazy about Drake. To put all this together, also Meek had felt the way because again, he had just came home from incarceration. At this time, back in 2015, he had a welcome home concert in Philly. Drake was supposed to show up. He didn't show up. Meek was feeling some type of way about that as well. So Meek was dissing Drake. Drake ain't waste no time. Instead of going on social media and dissing Meek Mill in return, he dropped a diss record. The first one, entitled Charged Up. Charged Up was like a little stinger. It was a message to Meek like, yo, you want to do this? What's up? I'm hip hop. I ain't getting on Twitter rapping with you, but I'll rap with you in these records. Meek ain't respond. He gave him a few days. Then Back to Back came. As we all know, that was the moment where niggas was like, damn, Meek, hold that L. Meek responded with a whack-ass record. People were disappointed in the rapping-ass nigga from Philly. From there, we got an official beef. You got Drake going on stage in Philadelphia, dissing Meek Mill. Reportedly, there was some dream chasers and some goons from Meek trying to get up with Drake after the show, follow him to the hotel in every which way. Ain't nothing happened to Drake, thank God, but in regards to him and Meek, the beef was pretty bad. Now, over time, again, I believe life helped this beef end with just the direction and the trajectory that these two artists are going in. I can tell you this, Drake ain't never want to beef with Meek Mill. Drake, in interviews, he said, I went out of my way to help Meek Mill in the beginning of his career. Drake, remember, there is an interview out there where Drake said Meek Mill made the most important record in the last 10 years in hip-hop in the intro. And I believe the intro is one of the biggest records we've ever heard in hip-hop. I think that thing is going to be played like when we're 60 and 70 years old. That record is huge. You hear that record from every club down south to everywhere on the East Coast. Hell, you might hear that bad boy in Kansas or Wisconsin somewhere. That's one of the biggest rap records ever. And in regards to Drake bigging up Meek, again, he never wanted to beef with Meek, but he felt like Meek was trying to end his career. And once he put that ghostwriting tag on Drake, a lot of people would make the case that Meek Mill put a stain on Drake's image that he still ain't shook. Like, he still got that ghostwriting thing on his resume that some people, including me, could never say Drake's the best rapper in the world because of that. I can't say he's the best rapper in the world when I don't know if he writes his stuff. And every time I hear a verse from Drake, in the back of my mind, I think, damn, that shit hard, but I don't know if he wrote it. Hashtag, did you write that though? Right? But again, it's beautiful to see these two finally get to this point where they're on stage in Boston. And I think the reason why they did it in Boston is because of Meek Mill's relationship with a few CEOs and owners within the Boston area. Remember, he's really cool with the New England Patriots owner, Robert Kraft. One of the big reasons why Meek is out right now. He's cool with the Boston Celtics owner as well. So I think Boston was the location that they wanted to do. I wouldn't be surprised. It would have been dope to see it happen in Philly. I don't think Drake's did his show in Philly yet. I don't think that tour's hit Philly yet. Hopefully they do something there. That would be dope as well. But I'm happy to see these brothers on one accord. When we got women beefing and it seems like Nicki and Cardi are taking their beef to the next level physically over the weekend, it's dope to see. It looks like the men are figuring out. All the top men artists, they not beefing at all. They ending their beef. They finding ways to work together. I got a story coming tomorrow about Kanye West and Jay-Z reportedly getting on the same page. The men are figuring out in hip-hop. It's just the women not so much atop hip-hop. But again, salute to Meek Mill and Drake. I'm guessing music is coming from this. I can't confirm it. I don't even have a source on that. But I'm guessing if Drake, because Drake said he would never rock with Meek Mill again after what he tried to do to his career. If Drake brought Meek Mill out on tour, then I'm guessing they might do a record or two in the chain. That might be something that we see on Meek's new project that is coming out soon. It's coming out by the end of this year. So maybe that's where we go with these two musically. Super dope stuff there. Drake and Meek Mill in their beef. Also, one little side note I want to add here. We've been talking a lot about drug usage in rap over the last few weeks. Obviously, we lost one rapper to it a few days ago. I do want to say this. Meek Mill is moving around, and reportedly he's not on perks anymore, and he's not on drugs right now at all as he moves around. If this is true, I just want y'all to understand the decisions people make. I'm not telling you what to do with your life. I'm not no freaking spokesman for anyone. I'm not no preacher or nothing like that. All I'm saying is this dude is clean, and his actions are showing the actions of somebody who's moving with a clear mind. He's ending beef with the right people. Y'all know Drake's the best at making moments. He's always down to make a moment. That's why I consider this guy the biggest rapper in the world. Not the best, but the biggest, because he's always down to make moments. And Meek was smart enough to know it'll be a good look for me to go in front of this big Boston crowd in this beef with a guy that I don't need that, I don't need any negative energy in my life right now as I try to fight for my life and fight for my freedom. This is a great look for me. So I'm just saying, look how clearly and smart this man is moving since he's come home. Thank y'all for the time, love, and support. I don't take it for granted. Drake and Meek Mill in their beef in front of a sellout crowd in Boston, Massachusetts. One of the most talked about beefs on the internet ever has finally come to an end. Drizzy, Meek Millie on the same page. Rap game, y'all better be aware, because the two people that gave you records like Rico, Amen, and a plethora of others are now on the same page. Amen. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
All the kids, they are now tuned in.
Yeah, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO.
Mr. Taliaferro. Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.